What is going on, all you sci-fi movie maniacs out there? It's your boy, Fat Samurai Guy. That's right. With the legend, the legendary artist himself has returned back to the channel to represent movies and sci-fi. We have the amazing Dan Mumford. How are you, my brother?
Hey, yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, man. Good, man. Glad to have you back here hanging out. And thanks again for sending us the video vote for our Versus episode between
Of course.
Hardcore Henry versus Upgrade. That was a lot of fun, man. Thanks for participating in that. And feel free, man, any future Versus episodes, say, hey, I want in. Send me a video vote. It's all good.
I will.
The more the merrier with those,
Yeah.
man. But we are here to talk about Predator 2 Electric Boogaloo. Is it really that bad? That's what we're here to talk about. Is it really that bad? And we'll answer that question. We will save it towards the end when we get done talking about the movie here. But yeah, let me go ahead and read the plot synopsis really quick. For those that are new to the Predator realm, Predator 2 came out in 1990. What a year that is. So many movies came out in 1990.
Strong
man.
year. Very strong.
I know. I mean, the competition was insane. But it's directed by Stephen Hopkins. And the plot synopsis is the Predator returns to Earth, this time to stake a claim on the war-torn streets of a dystopian Los Angeles.
It is dystopian.
You gotta love IMDb plot synopsises. I love how it says the Predator returns. He died in the first movie.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's a predator. A predator returns.
Yeah, a Predator comes to Earth. Yeah. Oh my God, I swear.
Close.
I don't know. There's a deleted scene we missed from the first movie. He actually the explosion was it was all fake. You know, he somehow snuck away off the planet.
Yeah.
Now he's back.
I'm sure nowadays they would probably try and retcon it somehow.
Right?
Actually, yeah.
Well, the Predator, in a way, does kind of return because we do have the amazing, legendary Kevin Peter Hall does come back, and he is in the suit. But man, we got a pretty great cast here. Danny
Amazing
Glover,
cast. Amazing.
yeah, Danny Glover,
Yeah.
Busey. I mean, we got the Paxtonator. You know, Robert Davi, Adam Baldwin. I mean, we're all over the place here. I mean, this is just a really, really, really great, strong cast.
Yeah. Super.
I remember seeing posters for Predator 2 in the theaters, and I remember seeing like this Thanksgiving or this Christmas, and it's really funny if you think about it, because let's be honest, everybody that made this movie was on coke. You know, I know when people watch this movie, they think that this is the scene from the movie. I think they just were filming the cast on set here, and I think they were. You know, this is what was going on. You know,
those first 15 minutes really do set the scene, don't they?
Oh my God. Yeah, I think that whoever wrote the script, the director, I mean, everybody was like on something when they did this movie, because it is just adrenaline, fuel pumping, you know, chaos in the beginning of this movie, man. Oh my God.
The actual first like 5-10 minutes, the action scene, whatever, like it doesn't feel like it's set in the same world as the first Predator film. Like the first Predator film seemed to be sort of like, you know, a Vietnam sort of style,
right,
out in the jungle sort of thing. And then this one, it's like
Cambodia look like Kansas.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And this one just opens and it's like, what's on their guns? Like they've got like magnums with laser sights on them and everything, and also massive sights.
Yeah,
just stuff that's totally not at all correct for the time period, but it looks cool. Yeah, and also just this like complete, utter, insane gang warfare. But okay, so being someone in England, like gangs were more of a problem in the 90s, right? Were they in LA? I don't know. Like, was that a thing?
I would say that
obviously not like
this
they
is
are in
a
the film.
This is a fictionalized, over the top, crazy, insane,
But
cocaine-filled version of of LA.
No, but
In this one,
was it not the sort of thing where it'd be like on the news, like, oh, rival gangs are fighting it out, and this was sort of like them taking it to the ultimate degree or something? I guess
they turned it up to 11.
Yeah,
I mean, it's almost like a post-apocalyptic war movie in the beginning.
It really is, and there's graffiti on everything. Like every single surface has so much graffiti on it.
Yeah, I don't know why, but the vibe of this movie a little bit kind of reminds me of RoboCop 2.
Yeah,
a little bit. You know, the whole splatter punk, type of vibe. Everyone's over the top, crazy, big hair, big acting. Especially when you have this huge, gigantic line of people waiting to go into the police precinct, and they're outside like, ah! I'm like, wait a minute, they're not getting arrested. They're just there to go. They're waiting to go in to complain.
Yeah,
and then when you go inside, they're like in front of the window, like just like
yeah. And like I love that. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I love that stuff, man, because it's proper world building.
Yeah,
They really went to town on making this look like what they wanted to make it look like.
Yeah,
it kind of loses that for the second half. There's not as much of that, but if they'd have done more of that, I'd have really, really loved it even more.
Right.
But yeah, that opening is. I think it's amazing. Actually, I think it's amazing.
It is.
And then you throw in a Predator, and it's like, okay, yeah, this could be one of the best films I've ever seen. It takes some turns after that, but
right.
What an opening! Oh my god,
it's fantastic.
And Danny Glover, Danny Glover, like prime Danny Glover.
You get Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon in here, man.
It looks like he's just rolled off the set of Lethal Weapon, literally without seconds to go. And he's really, really fed up of this shit now, and he's so. And also to top it off as well, they make it very clear that it's really, really, really hot, so everyone's sweaty the whole time.
Oh, the whole movie.
Whenever a film does that, because I've seen a few that do that, and I always think, is this because they were like filming in extreme heat and everyone was going to be really sweaty anyway, or is it a part of the film because they are really sweaty in this whole film all the time? I mean, LA is hot if they were filming there.
It might be a little bit of both, but it actually might be a part of the film too, because you remember in the original Predator when the female that's with them, the girl, she tells the story. She's like every year, she's like it's only in the hottest years this happens.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that does make sense now then.
Yeah, that could be a little bit of. So those that have watched me and watched the channel, thank you for watching. But if you know me, I mean, come on, that's the poster right there.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know that's like by default. It's always hard. It's always hard for me to pick my favorite movie of all time. But by default, like if I have to go, gun to my head, choose. It's gonna be Predator. It just sums the samurai guy up.
Very good film.
So when I first watched Predator 2. I had mixed feelings about it. Like the first time I seen it when I was younger, I liked it because it's Predator and it had some cool stuff. But I had mixed feelings about it because I think I reacted how everyone else reacted when they first saw it in terms of how do you go from Arnold Schwarzenegger to Danny Glover, right?
Yeah, it is a big leap,
Right. And it's just kind of like, it was kind of weird, especially when Arnold Schwarzenegger was so powerful and with Dutch got destroyed, like even in the hand-to-hand combat aspect, he got. That's why Predator's awesome, because for the first time ever, you see Arnold Schwarzenegger run away in fear, which is great if you think about it. He never did that in his movies until Predator.
No.
Which is awesome, But in this one, Danny Glover's kind of going toe-to-toe with Predator, and people didn't really they didn't buy it. But here's the thing. Many years later, I always watch it, and I always visit Predator 2 once in a while because it's, and it's what's weird for me is that I kind of buy it now. Sure, I buy it now. It works because he's playing this, Danny Glover's, number one, Danny Glover's a big guy.
Yeah.
And he's playing this hard-boiled cop that's willing to do anything.
Yeah, right? And also a guy that is really, really pissed off. Like, his whole team dies throughout the whole film.
Revenge.
I kind of see him as I mean, it's a proper cliched cop story. Like all of the scenes within the police precinct, it's just sort of like you roll your eyes a bit, but at the same time, it's like, but you love it,
Yeah,
because it's like, you can't do this anymore. This is your last chance.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll do what I've got to do.
Yeah.
All this sort of stuff. But if you sort of put yourself in that mindset of he is that sort of a cop and he will do whatever he has to do, sure, he could maybe he could take down a predator. Just about.
I think.
I mean, he is in a bad way as well by the end. Like he does get hurt a lot.
Yeah. But it's like, I think the Lethal Weapon movies, I think everyone just sees Murtaugh, and it's just like, I'm too old for this shit. I'm getting old, and I'm old. And I think by the time they saw Predator 2, they still saw Murtaugh.
Yeah,
and it was just kind of like they didn't know how to accept it at first.
I checked this earlier, and it's only just after the second Lethal Weapon. So there's still, he's sort of, was he retiring the first and second one? I can't remember. He's retiring every film. So
yeah,
I forget.
I'm too old for this shit. That was that started in the first movie.
But because he looks quite young in Predator 2.
Yeah.
And I guess he's only mid 40s or something.
Yeah.
And he looks good, man.
He's shaped, he's big. You know, it works. It's just everyone still sees Riggs.
Yeah,
hey,
I know.
And
that's I think that's kind of the problem he's had for his whole career, right? Because you don't really see him in leading roles. You see him sort of in bit parts.
Yeah,
here and there,
co-starring roles and stuff.
Which is a shame because he's great.
Yeah,
I'm sure he doesn't care. He's doing just fine. But
he's having a blast now. He's like, I'll act in anything. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I got nothing else to prove.
But apart from Predator 2 and the Lethal Weapon films, I can't think of many where he's like the lead action hero. And even in Lethal Weapon, Mel Gibson's more of the action guy. Well, he's sort of just like, I can't do this. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the veteran, the old crusty veteran that could still shoot, But yeah, back to Predator 2. So like I was saying earlier is I think it's on the poster it said Thanksgiving release or Christmas release. And after rewatching this movie last night, I'm like, Jesus Christ, why can't we have movies like this on Thanksgiving and Christmas nowadays?
Yeah, man.
Crazy, violent, over the top, cocaine fueled movie. Yes,
but this is a film from that perfect period of time, the early 80s to mid 90s, before CGI came along too much, where it's all real, it all looks amazing. You've got obviously there's some special effects, but even actually in this film they're very good because they're not distracting. Right, his camouflage stuff looks great. Yeah, stuff where he's walking through the rain puddles and stuff, that looks amazing.
Yes.
The sort of lightning crackling around him, I was watching it quite closely today, and it's an animation that's been put over it or something. It's quite a unique look, actually.
Yeah. I have a clip of that. I'll play it a little bit later.
It's from that perfect period for me of films where it was
real action.
And it was almost like it was easier to make things look dirty and grimy than perfect. So you got a lot of these sort of sci-fi, just sort of tipping over the edge into dystopia sort of things. And they look amazing. They feel amazing. Everything's real. Right. Like at the start when Danny Glover's just driving a car into them and stuff. It's just, it feels great. I mean, again, that intro. Perfect intro.
You think with him leaning out, there's no door. He takes the door out, and then he leans out like this while driving, while they're all shooting at him, so he can make a barrier so he can get the cops' bodies up. You think he was making himself more of a target?
But here's the other thing: he puts bulletproof vests in the windows, but it doesn't matter about the rest of the car.
No,
which bullets would go through. Yeah. So it's okay, you put them in front of the little bit of glass there, but you could still get shot by these machine guns that are firing at you. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But actually, I have a good story about my first time seeing.
They're dying, man. They're dying, man. But go ahead.
And he got them. So my first time seeing it, I was way too young to see it.
Okay.
we had videotaped it off of the TV, and what would happen is my dad would watch the recording back to see if it was okay for me to watch, because I was like 10 or 11 or whatever.
Right.
And he'd see what version was on TV, what if they'd cut any stuff that made it a little bit less violent or whatever.
Right.
So we recorded Predator 2. I was so excited to watch it because I'd seen the first one. I was probably only 10 or 11, to be honest, but my parents were pretty good. They were just sort of like, they didn't really care.
Lucky.
I know, yeah, they were good. And what happened was I knew we had the tape at home, and I got home and I started watching it. And my dad came home from work, and it was the sex scene. And the woman's like on top of that man writhing around. My dad walks in, and I'm like, oh! It was such an awkward moment. And he just went, I told you I was going to... Figures. Yeah, he was like, I told you I was going to watch this before you could watch it, Dad. I was like, uh-oh. Well, I've started now, so I carried on. But it was
what a
such
scene,
an
though.
awkward moment.
I mean, that was some high quality fucking. I mean, holy shit.
So
they were fucking so hard that they were fucking like it was the end of the world. Like they had 1 hour left to fuck before the asteroid hits planet Earth.
I mean, technically, that guy did not have much long left.
That's true, actually.
Yeah, and the room they're in is amazing. It's like this amazing room with those windows. I mean, that's the thing. Like, take the sex scene out of it.
Yeah,
that's a really iconic moment, actually, as well. Like that room and what happens in it, and them being strung up. Like,
oh yeah,
I remember that really vividly. Not just because my dad caught me watching it. But
why does that always happen to us when we're young, growing up? Our parents always walk in at the worst moment or some shit.
I could. It's only like 20 seconds, but those were the 20 seconds he decided to come home. Anyway, so that was my first time watching it, and other than that, I don't really remember much.
Did you kind of like? Were you like me throughout the years? You would occasionally go back and visit it.
Do you know what? I only rewatched Predator 2 last year, or the start of this year.
Oh wow!
Probably the first time since. No, I must have watched it when I was like in my 20s. But,
right.
We're talking a handful of times in 25 years or something.
Yeah.
And so I watched it earlier this year again, and I was like, okay, yep. And which I think is when I probably spoke to you about it a bit before.
Yeah.
And then I watched it again today just to sort of refresh my memory.
Right.
And elements of it still are pretty good, I think.
Oh yeah.
It's one. I think also if you watch this film, having watched Predators, The Predator, AVP 1 and 2,
right?
This is quite a good film. Like
everyone's different, but personally, this is my second favorite of the franchise.
I think it would be hard to not say that because there's a lot to like in it.
I think the majority of the fans would probably choose Predators over Predator 2 because it's more serious. I like Predators, but I feel they dropped the ball.
Was the idea that Danny Glover was meant to be in that?
What happened?
Or Arnold. Was Danny Glover or Arnold meant to be in it? Because there's is it Lawrence Fishburne?
Lawrence Fishburne, yeah.
I always thought that it was meant to be like one of them would be the mysterious guy that's on the
alien planet.
Because it would have made more sense. Like, I've been here. I'm one of the champions or something. But instead, it was just Lawrence Fishburne, which was
have
cool.
to create some scene where they get kidnapped or taken to the planet or something.
It could have worked, but
I wouldn't have minded it, to be honest.
Yeah,
because I'm biased. But
I do feel like that even though this one's like not really that connected to the first one,
right?
I do feel like they've all lacked any connective tissue after that, other than there's a predator in it. Do you know what I mean?
Right. This one mentions what happens to the team in the first one,
and it feels like it can follow on because it's the same sort of period as well, like in terms of how the film looks. Whereas Predators, it just feels so new and fresh. It's just a bit,
right.
But this one, I could imagine it's like a few years later in Los Angeles, this happened. It does. I think back to back, they actually do work as a pair of films.
Right. Well, like, it's we're not saying this is a perfect movie. This is by no means a perfect movie.
There's still plenty to discuss about it.
And like RoboCop 2, which is still R-rated, which is still violent, which still has some awesome moments in there. Like RoboCop 2, there's these silly moments in this movie as well. Like moments, dude, I was laughing my ass off, bro. I'll get to it. I'll get to it when we get to it. But but here's the thing, I'm still enjoying myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's not. It's like it's not too long a film either. It's like a good sort of length. You know, it's funny. Like as I get older, that's an important thing to a film. I really do notice if a film's too long now. It's sort of like you could, if it's like you could have taken out half an hour of this film, and I wouldn't have noticed. But this is a film where everything it keeps moving along really nicely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it gives you what you want.
Yeah.
As a Predator or an action movie fan,
there's not a lot of downtime in it.
No, which is great. It gives it. Let's bring in the butts. Let's bring in the butts for the seats. Let's give them some action. Blockbuster popcorn munching, Predator fun.
Yeah.
And let's pour some cocaine over the popcorn. And let's go. Let's go. But here's as much flack as this movie gets, though. Believe it or not, there's some people I've come across that they think they hate. Like they loathe this movie. They think it should be lower than the Rotten Tomato critic scores. Like they hate the movie, and it's just and I asked them why. To each his own. You don't have to love the movie. That's fine. But I asked them why, and it's mostly because they constantly keep comparing it to the first movie. Like the first movie's mysterious. It's in the jungle. The setting's better. Oh, L.A. Well, here's the thing: is like as much flack as this movie gets. This movie is extremely important to the franchise and the lore because this opens up a lot of, new interesting ideas which comic book writers took from, and they created their own Predator comics, and which led to, the Alien versus Predator comics and all that 100%. Stuff. And we're seeing the Predator in a new setting. You get introduced to the trophy room, which we'll talk about later. Which really kicks things off to high gear. And we'll get to it at the end of the movie, but a little Easter egg that they've been here way longer than we thought. Of course.
Yeah. And I think if they were to have just done Predator in another jungle setting or something, that's boring. Yeah. Like they can't do a film. The problem, it's a sequel. You can't have that mysterious tension building up too much again. Because you know what's there. You've seen the Predator.
There you go.
There isn't. It's not. It can't be that film. So it has to be something different.
Good point.
And I actually think setting it in the concrete jungle is a fantastic idea. Perhaps it doesn't fully utilize it, but it's way better than like moving it to another sort of similarly set film. I mean, you get some great stuff like the image in the background up on the top of the buildings.
Yeah.
Maybe there could have been a bit more of that. But then there's the scene down on the subway. It's a very claustrophobic film as well. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of quite intense moments in somewhere you can't get out of. The first film, he's in a jungle. You can just run. Right. In this film, you can't run. Essentially, a lot of the time they are stuck. So in that way. I think it's I do think they properly thought about how to do something different, and I do think they've pulled that aspect off of it.
And I agree with you. I agree with you definitely. But let's go ahead and talk about it a little bit here. So the beginning is insane. Scorpio is ready.
It really is. It really is insane.
I mean, it is like a post-apocalyptic World War III carnage in the beginning. I mean, double Uzis, grenade launchers, pistols that you said with laser sightings on them.
If that stuff was going on, there'd be tanks there. The army would be there to take them down. It wouldn't be Danny Glover in a car.
Cops with shields. Yeah, and it's funny. Did you recognize the little squad that was getting shot down? The leader of that little squad. Did you recognize the actor?
I don't know that I did.
So the actor, where he's just like Danny Glover's like, let me just go in and do my thing, and he's like, all right, go ahead. That's the actor. That's the same actor who plays the chief of police in Lethal Weapon movies. It's the same guy. Come on, they should have just threw in Mel Gibson. This would have been the greatest crossover ever. But anyway,
could have put him in there.
Yeah, fuck it. Well, that would have cost way more budget. I don't know. I don't know what the budget was for this one. But yeah, it's just insane. And then you have, like you said, Predator shows up, fucks all these dudes up. All these dudes, Scorpio, they all get fucked up.
And you don't see a lot of that. That they do give you a little bit of the mystery there, I suppose.
Yeah. And I mean, this movie's so insane. They even have Morton Downey Jr. as Tony Pope, pretty much playing himself.
Do you know what? At first, I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "This guy's really annoying." But actually, he's only there very briefly, and it adds that sort of RoboCop feel, the very satirical take on things. So I actually didn't mind him at all.
I'm sure the audience enjoyed Danny Glover punching him out, knocking him out.
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you have this huge war between the Cuban gangs versus the
Jamaicans, I think.
Jamaicans, as well as the cops in the middle. You know, so it's just insanity. The drug wars, man.
Yeah.
But Danny Glover's entrance was amazing, and that whole beginning. It's almost like Demolition Man's another one, where the beginning is insane. The beginning is amazing. The beginning, you think it'd be an ending to an action movie.
That's a film I need to rewatch, actually, because I've not seen that probably in a good 10 years now.
Oh.
And I bet I would really enjoy watching that again.
We should discuss later.
Yeah, I should watch that one. Yeah.
Yeah, we should, because I have a feeling it's probably rated low on Rotten Tomatoes. You know,
of course it is. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So let's get into it a little bit here. But yeah, you got Robert Davi showing up. He's pissed off because Danny Glover's his character's not, playing ball.
Yeah.
But Danny Glover, that's right, has a new partner.
Oh yeah,
that's right, Lieutenant Harrigan. His new partner, Jerry Lambert, played by the treasure that we will miss. The treasure that is Bill Paxton, man.
He is incredible. I genuinely, so he plays it up so much. Like, he's so over the top in it. And at first I was like, is this really him? Is this really the way he's going to be in this film? Yeah. And it is. For the whole thing, he's just so annoying, but so perfect.
Yeah.
And I think again, it's like everything in this film. It's just turned up to 11. It's like they just said, can you do that, but as if you were on way more cocaine? Like, literally, that's like what they said to him.
Give him more cocaine.
Yeah. And he's great. And his oversized, like, white suit and everything. I really liked him. And, and he does sort of endear himself as well to the
he actually turns out to be a nice guy. I mean, a good guy at heart. He just has a very annoying, cocky personality.
My favorite moment with him and Danny Glover is when he takes him into his room and he goes, "I'm going to give you one speech and that's it." And he gives this, the most cliched thing ever. But it's it works. It's really good.
Welcome to the war, kid.
Exactly.
That's what he tells him, we don't need any hot shots here, man. But yeah, Paxton, and we just recently talked about Near Dark here on the channel, and Paxton's just like the man. I really miss that actor. I really do.
Yeah.
But so the movie continues. We're still trying to figure out how to stop this war. Meanwhile, Predator's hanging out. You know what I'm saying? It's on vacation. He's on a safari.
Moments like that are why this film is iconic, I think. Because
that's a great shot, dude.
It is. Any of that sort of stuff, I think, really is pretty special. It's also the sort of film where the poster for this film was great. Him in front of, is it him just holding up a skull in front of the buildings? I can't remember now if he's actually got a skull. But either way, you know the one I mean. There's like
let me look it up as well, right? Let me try to find it. Oh yeah, he's holding his spear and the skull and spine, bro.
There you go. Right. Like, and as a kid, I'm pretty sure that to me was like everything. I was like, this looks like the best film that will ever exist. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a lot of very iconic moments in this film, I would say.
Oh yeah.
Maybe more than the first Predator, because the first Predator is just the Predator in a jungle.
Right.
There's not much scenery.
This one you get the Predator, like you said, a lot more because there's no point of being mysterious, like you said. We all know who Predator is, right? And you get way more gadgets, way more weaponry.
Yeah.
Like it expands the lore. It's great.
It does a lot for that, actually. Yeah.
So after the the greatest fuck scene in 5 seconds, Jamaicans show up to instill fear in their rivals. They cut out this guy's heart. It doesn't go well. And then Predator, great scene here. Predator comes in here and fucks everybody up, dude. Like, I love the net attack.
Yeah.
The net attack was dope, man.
Did the net do that in the first film? I can't remember. It did, right?
There was no net in the first movie.
There was no net in the
it was the claw. I mean,
the laser.
Not the claw. I call it the Predator claw, and the laser. That's it.
So there you go. This film gave you the net as well, which I think is quite an iconic part of Predator.
Yeah,
and his arsenal. That's interesting.
Yeah, the spear as well. I love how the spear closes in 3 sections.
Wait! The spear's not in the first film either.
No.
Oh my god! See, to me, the Predator has a spear and a net, and actually, that's even obviously the laser cannon on his shoulder is like one of the best bits.
Right.
But the spear and the net, I actually think they're some of the cooler parts of Predator. Like, the fact he can catch his prey and make the net shrink as well to an extent.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
That's really interesting. Yeah,
and
there you go.
One of the coolest weapons ever, which we'll get to later.
Yeah,
we'll get to that a little bit later. But it doesn't go well for these guys, man. And of course, Glover and his, I keep calling him Glover. I do that sometimes.
I've completely forgotten his name.
Harrigan, Mike Harrigan. Harrigan and his team investigate, and they're like, "What the fuck is going on?" All these bodies hanging around, skin. What is happening? And the part of one of Predator's weapons, it's still stuck to the vent, and his buddy, his buddy Danny goes back to investigate. But what did Harrigan tell him? Don't go in alone. Wait for me. And he was an idiot, and he went in alone. He got killed.
And actually, I really liked the character of Danny. He was he was like a really genuine, soft character in this team of quite hard bastards,
Yeah.
And he was really nice, and then he's the first to die. So
I know, right? But there was some good dialogue in this movie too. Like when they're first investigating all the bodies, and then Harrigan's like, "We got a new player in town." He's like looking around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's some great moments.
Yeah, Danny Glover plays a very good, unhinged guy.
Shit.
Yeah, like he's a good actor. He mainly has one.
Bitch.
He mainly has one gear, but he does it really well.
Yeah. But I got my notes over here, and some things were busting me up, man. So you got, oh my god, and then of course during that scene, the Predator hears the words, he hears the words, "Shit happens." So remember, they record so they could play it back.
Yeah,
that's their thing.
I mean, he records some weirder stuff later on.
Yeah. You gotta get to, and I was laughing last night, bro. I was cracking out, but still having a good time. Okay, so you remember Keys, Gary Busey's character is introduced, and they, Harrison is another treasure around this time. I mean, look at this mug, look at this guy. Come on, you gotta love this guy.
I would say underacting compared to everyone else.
That's true.
Like he's fairly normal in this. Like
until a little bit later, he starts to be.
Yeah, he has a few minutes of craziness, but he's really understated for most of the film.
Yeah,
and because when he turns up, I was like, oh my god, this is going to another level, and it doesn't. He's just sort of like, he's very straight.
Yeah,
and then it was one of those moments where I sort of go, okay, he can actually like act. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like he's quite good
if he wants to. Yeah, definitely. But he's there, and Harrison's supposed to be. Harrigan. He's supposed to be playing ball. Robert Davi's like, look, you need to start playing ball. These, stay out of Key's way and his team's way. They have special access to this case, and of course you find out later they know about the Predator's existence and they're trying to catch him, right?
Which I think is quite a cool revelation. Actually.
Yeah,
the fact that they're sort of like, we know there's a Predator, we want it. Yeah, I think that's quite cool.
That's great. That's awesome, man. And it's kind of funny. This is what made me laugh. Was we had Tony Pope, Morton Downey Jr. It's early over here. All right, it's early over here where I'm at. I'm not awake yet. Remember, he snuck in where Harrigan and the Keys were arguing, and then what does Keys say? Get that guy out of here. Get this camera, right? Well, I guess whoever he sent after him to get the camera, I guess he failed in that aspect. Because remember, on the news, you see Tony Pope behind him with footage of the skinned dead bodies hanging there. I was like, wait a minute. What happened there? What happened to getting rid of the camera? But I was laughing at that. I was like, they would not show that on the news,
In this world, they would.
You know what?
Timeline.
Good point.
They definitely would.
Good point.
Yeah, 100%.
Everything's extreme in this. That's right.
Yeah.
But I was just laughing at it. I was like, well, good job getting rid of the camera there. But now let's get to King Willie, man. Oh, man. Yeah. This is another, like you said, iconic scene.
I think so, yeah.
This is Lady Fatblood's favorite scene in the movie. This is her favorite scene. So Harrigan tries to meet with the leader of the Jamaican drug gang and to try to get some information, maybe work together because Predator's killing everybody.
It's quite funny actually, because he basically achieves nothing in that scene. It's like 15 minutes of the film.
That's true.
He meets up with them, he goes along to him, he has a chat with him, and then he just says, "Nah, I'm not going to do anything."
Yeah.
And then the Predator turns up, obviously. but in terms of like
narrative.
Of narrative, nothing really happens other than, in fact, they could have just killed him off and that would have been fine. You didn't have to have him go and meet him.
That's true, because he started spouting out like Harrigan just walked away because he's just
basically
and he's talking.
It's all about gods and demons.
Yeah, he's like, he's from the other side, man.
Exactly.
And then Harrigan's like, all right, this guy's insane. I'm gonna leave.
And then when the Predator turns up, which is a fantastic moment as he comes down into the rain, and the lightning's crackling. Actually, when I was watching it again, I was looking at it and going, if you truly believed in demons and all that sort of stuff, you would see this and think, this is a fucking demon.
Right.
Like, there's no two ways about it. Because it's such an amazing, it's just a really amazing scene there.
Oh, yeah.
And the transition.
Yes.
You don't see him getting killed, but the transition to his head being taken away in his hand is so good. Like, it's really good.
Yeah.
I'd completely forgotten about that. And you hear this like scream and
this is fantastic. Even visual effects for the time and the budget the movie had.
I think it's really good.
This is fantastic stuff right here. Just walking in the water. I mean, in the water here. You can see his reflection right there. See it?
I loved the fact that his reflection showed the Predator. And then when it panned back up, you still couldn't see him. It was a sort of like, I'm not sure that, I have no idea how this technology would work. Maybe that is how it would work. That's kind of cool, right?
But iconic scene, man.
Really good.
This is what keeps this, on top of the, or at least second to the franchise for me. But Big Willie, Big Willie style. Getting jiggy with it. King Willie. After King Willie gets jiggy with it, he takes his sword cane out. He's ready to throw down. I would have ran. I know, but I guess he figured, fuck it. It's just my time. The predator come calling, man, right? And then, yeah, like you said, it was one of the greatest movie transitions ever.
I love it.
Where he's screaming, and you think it's like battle cry.
Yeah.
No, it's just Predator walking away with his head.
and a really good prosthetic as well, actually. Like a good prosthetic head.
You're like, no, Predator's just walking away with his decapitated head. This is one of the coolest moments ever.
Yeah, I love that.
In cinema history, I'm sorry. Oh my God. But yeah, just great stuff, man. Great stuff here. Now, let's get to the subway sequence.
This is where I think it goes back into being a bit more satirical, bit more that RoboCop vibe.
Yeah.
I really do feel like the filmmakers went, you know how RoboCop did that stuff with all the satirical take on life and everything?
Right.
I do feel like they put a good dollop of that in this.
Right. No, it felt like that, yeah.
Yeah, like, yeah. The mugging with the guns and everything.
Yeah. You have Jerry and Leona on the train, on the subway, and you got these douchebag. You might as well call them splatter punks at this point. They're over there and messing with this one dude. He whips out a gun, and then like this whole section behind him of people just sitting there.
It's so funny.
They whip out pistols. I'm over here laughing, dude. I'm like,
they've all got like massive magnums. They're not tiny guns.
Yeah.
What's also funny is I think the thugs in that scene, they're like quite pathetic looking thugs.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not
especially
really that intimidating.
Compared to the gang members that you've seen in the rest of the film, it's a bit like, oh, these guys.
I know these douchebags.
That was a great.
Where's Charles Bronson when you need him? You'll take care of these guys. You'll take care of these guys. But it's funny because it's been a while since I watched this, and it's funny because before Danny Glover states it for the casual audience in case they didn't get it, I was thinking as soon as Predator attacks the subway train, I was thinking, dude, he went after them because everybody's got fucking guns.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was like, that's kind of fucking cool, dude.
I think it's a really it's something that's not stated at all in the original film. Again, it's a little bit of world building and lore.
Right.
The fact that they're hunting and they need worthy opponents. They're not just going to kill anyone.
Arnold has that one line. He has that one line.
Okay, yeah.
He goes, "No sport. Don't pick up your gun." But
this leads into the fact. This leads into the fact that is her name Leona?
Yeah, Leona.
The fact he doesn't kill her because she's pregnant, which
so apparently,
I think that's a pretty cool idea.
Apparently, even the aliens from Alien franchise don't kill. Yeah, well, I guess they didn't go after Ripley because she had one of them in her, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I think they'd have killed otherwise, to be fair.
Yeah, probably. But yeah.
Like I liked that as a thing as well, because that it's a defenseless individual,
Right.
And I think it goes a little bit further to say that the predators are intelligent. Right. They're very smart. They know exactly what they're doing.
Now, if the baby was packing heat, baby's
exactly. Yes, exactly.
But a great fun scene of predators showing up, just causing chaos, killing everybody.
Yeah.
in that subway train, and now it comes down to our boy Jerry, shooting at him.
Yeah.
Now, what did you think of that scene? He emptied two clips into him. Now, was he a bad shot, and all his cowboy legendary was bullshit, or
was dark?
Right, it was just hard to see because it was dark light. Yeah.
Did he actually hit him lots? I can't remember now.
When I watched it last night, I didn't feel like he hit him at all because he's
because I guess the idea is that the predator, if you would get a solid shot to the head, that predator's dead, right? Like they're not
It's
superhuman.
No.
Yeah, they're not like.
No, Danny Glover fucks him up later with shotgun.
Yeah,
yeah.
They're very vulnerable. They've got exposed skin and everything. It's not like it doesn't bleed.
Right.
So yeah, I think very unlucky, but also I don't know. But, he had to die.
When people are scared and freaking out, sometimes the aim isn't that great when you see something like that coming at you and you don't even know what the fuck it is, right? But want some candy, Dan? Dan, do you want some candy?
That moment, so weird.
So I also thought this was funny. So Jerry pumps 2 clips and misses. And he goes, "What are you? What are you?" Right? And then he reaches for more bullets. And segueing back from him talking about how much he loves golf while he's trying to impress that girl in the police station, he whips out what he thought was bullets, a golf ball. And this motherfucker throws the golf ball at Predator.
I mean, you probably would in your last moments. You got to do something, right?
It was just a hilarious, odd callback to earlier in the movie. And then he picks up one of the gang members' machetes. He's like, "Let's dance." And he just, Paxton don't want to go out like no punk. You know what I'm saying? He gonna go out.
I think the film's quite well threaded together. Yeah, like little weird things like that. I think are quite good. It's batshit insane, but it's well done.
But right after this, we got want some candy.
yeah.
Which a child earlier tried to he saw a predator in the cemetery and tried to offer him some candy, and Predator recorded it. Actually, I forgot to mention that scene. What do you think about was the Predator fucking with Harrigan?
I don't know. I don't know why, because it's in the daytime as well. It was a bit like, why was the Predator there? Like, was he just following him for some reason? It doesn't really add up, because the rest of the film, he's following the Predator and trying to find him. I don't know why the Predator's there, actually.
I think the Predator was watching him a lot since the beginning because he saw what he did in the beginning of the movie.
Maybe,
and he was kind of like, "Ooh, challenge. This is some good prey."
I think that's the implication, isn't it?
Right. But the cemetery scene, I think Predator's fucking with him because he left Danny's necklace there.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. And he's probably trying to get. It could be that he's trying to get him riled up to be a better. Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Which again, like actually, there's more layers to this crazy film than you think. But then you got something. But then you have something like Want Some Candy, which. Do you know what though? It's so creepy when it happens. I was like, imagine that'd be the last thing you hear before you get ripped apart. Like it's a very odd
I think
thing.
That's what they were going for.
Yeah, and they definitely achieved it.
Yeah, I think that's what they were going for.
It's really creepy.
It makes me laugh though. But it's amusing to me. But yeah, I get it. I totally get it. They were just it's kind of creepy in a way, like, oh shit, you're gonna get destroyed. Yeah. Your spine and your skull's gonna get ripped out of your body. And that's the last thing you hear. Yeah, so Harrigan shows up. Leona's in shock. They're carrying her in the ambulance, taking her away.
Oh, that's the last we see of her as well, isn't it?
That's it. You don't see her anymore. And then Harrigan goes to investigate.
I'll just say as well, when she turns up on screen, I'd completely forgotten about this. But at first I was like, why do I know her face? And it's because she's in The Running Man.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is like the only other film I've seen her in, and she's pretty badass in it as well.
She don't take no shit. She grabbed
to be fair,
Jerry's balls earlier, man.
Yes, The Running Man. Now that's a good film as well.
Oh yeah,
that's for another.
I'm sure that's rated really low as well on Rotten Tomatoes.
It probably
we should check. Actually. We should check. Something else to discuss for the future.
Yeah.
Again. Talking about iconic shots, but I'll play that iconic shot in a second. But Harrigan shows up to investigate, and I absolutely love. He goes around. He goes farther to investigate because all the cops and everybody they're investigating inside the subway train because that's where all the murders are at. No one's gone past around the corner.
Yeah.
So Harrigan goes past around the corner, and when he turns the corner, you see Predator rip out the spine and skull of Jerry's body and just toss the body. And he's like, "Peace out, motherfuckers!" And he just runs off screen. That's great.
That's a good example of the film not being too gratuitous, where and in that moment you're just like, "Oh my god," because you're seeing the full action, even though it's very small on screen. You're seeing it happen.
Yeah.
And it's so violent, even though it's just in the background.
Yeah.
And the film could have done it really up close and be horrible, but it has a little bit of restraint, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
I liked it.
For sure. But yeah, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
So that's Jerry's skull and spine that you see in the posters and everything.
Done. There's no one left anymore.
And then we have a little chase here until Keyes takes out Harrigan and then brings him into the fold. But before all that, during the chase, it's fun to go hunting, but you got to celebrate your winnings. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to celebrate your winnings.
Yeah, and that's great.
Look at this. Yeah. Come on, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I think that's equally as important to the Predator franchise as other stuff in the first film.
Think just about this. Have you seen anything this cool?
No,
anything
not really.
This cool after Predator 2?
Not in the Predator films. No.
But yeah, it's just awesome stuff. But now, like you said, I'll let you take the floor here and talk about Keyes bringing Harrigan into the fold and explaining. Everything.
Yeah. I mean, I think at this point, it's quite cool that it goes a little bit weird in this bit as well. Actually, the fact that, well, obviously we hear all about the fact there's been predators around and all this sort of stuff, but the fact that he sort of explains their plan to sort of trap him and do this, he sees through infrared and all this sort of stuff, and then before you know it, they've got these shiny suits on and everything. And it's sort of like it goes quite weird in this moment. Oh, and they're in a cattle storage unit or something, aren't they?
Yeah.
We're all a meat packing place or something.
Right.
And even then, Gary Busey, he keeps it a little bit calm in this moment. He's still not gone full on crazy.
Right.
He's going to do that in a bit.
Right.
And what are the weapons they have as well? They're these sort of they're trying to freeze it. They're
trying to freeze it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So these freeze guns, but they spray the whole meat packing plant with radioactive dust. So even if Predator is invisible, they can still see him, but he can't see them because of the suits they have on.
And instantly the whole thing goes completely wrong. I mean, even as they explained the plan, I was sort of like, well, this isn't going to work. And as they're trying to enact the plan, none of it really works at all.
Right.
And it just sort of devolves into a little bit of carnage very quickly, doesn't it? Which I enjoyed.
So yeah, I love this scene. What's cool about, again, one of the most awesome, badass, and iconic scenes is the meatpacking plant.
Yeah,
but if you think about it, soon as the meatpacking plant sequence starts, the movie doesn't end till it ends.
No, it's
non-stop.
It's like
Predator action.
25 minutes just going on and on and on.
Yeah, you don't cut to another scene with characters, see what they're doing at the precinct.
No.
What's Robert Davi doing?
I'd kind of... I remember looking at the timer today, and it was 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, this feels like the film's going to end soon.
Right.
But then it carries on for another 25 minutes. And I was like, because I couldn't remember anything else past that.
Yeah.
And there's a few moments of downtime with the Predator coming up,
repairing himself and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you're still with the Predator,
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of I was surprised watching it again, because as soon as after the meatpacking plant sequence, I thought we were going to cut to another group. what's going on in the police precinct or the drug
lord.
lords.
It doesn't, because there's, you're not interested in that.
No, you don't give a shit. The movie knows what you want.
Yeah, and it gives you something very special with that new weapon he gets out as well.
Oh my God, I can't wait. I can't wait to click on it. But Busey does, before the carnage, Busey does Buse very briefly.
Yeah, he does, just a little bit, yeah.
When he's trying to explain everything to Harrigan, and Harrigan's just not getting it, and Keyes goes, "It's a fucking alien."
Yeah.
And he's like, "He is here. He's on safari. That's right. He's hunting for the lion and the tigers and the bears. Yeah. Oh my."
And do you know what? That's quite good as well, because it's sort of like just reinforcing what the Predator's doing there.
Yeah.
The first film didn't give you a lot of that stuff, really.
Right.
And I feel like this one, they really sort of honed in on what the idea of the Predator was, and they I think this film did really mold a lot of what Predator's about.
That's what I'm saying. People shit on this movie and they think it's the worst in the franchise, and I'm just kind of like, you guys, this movie's, believe it or not, this goofy shit happens movie at points, the movie's silly, is integral. This is an important movie. It's actually important whether you like it or not.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there was much between the films, if there was like comics at all or anything. I think that was more later, wasn't it?
It was more after this one,
yeah.
More after this one, they kicked off.
So yeah, there's a lot going on in this film.
Yeah, this sequence was great, man. This was a phenomenal, badass, tension. The
Predator looks, actually, we haven't talked about it, but the Predator looks really good in this film as well. Which I think is, it's something that the films after this have failed, or they've struggled quite a bit to really find the look of the Predator.
Yeah,
I think AVP did it quite well, but everything after that seemed to really kind of muck it up. It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. We have all this technology now, and something's always off. Like, it's good, but something's off.
Yeah. Do you know? It reminds me of this is a total tangent, but it reminds me of the Halloween films. I was looking at something the other day, and it was showing you the different masks that Michael wears throughout them.
Yeah.
They just fucked it up repeatedly until like last year when they finally got it right.
Yeah. Let's just go back to the William Shatner design. God damn it!
Like, even from the second film, it was the same mask, but a guy with a bigger head, so it looked wrong. And then, oh my god, like the fourth and the fifth one, they're just horrific. But anyway, my point is, it's weird. It's weird how they struggle with that. At first, you think
their plan's working.
Yeah.
At first, it's like, all right. The setup is working, but it does not take long for Predator to stake his claim and let everybody knows who's boss here. Oh my god! So but good. Everybody gets taken out in spectacular fashion, and then Busey shows up. He's like, "You think he's dead after this incident? You think he's blown up?" But he comes back out. He's like, "Yeah, you son of a bitch." I think my Busey turned into Nick Nolte there, but
they're very similar, very similar.
But he starts to use his freeze gun on old Prids, and Prids whips out one of the coolest weapons that I don't think we've seen since. And if we've seen it since, I don't remember it. If we've seen it since in the other movies, I don't remember it. But he whips out this badass, like, frisbee blade looking thing.
Yeah.
And I love this. Look how awesome this scene is. It cuts through all the meat and then it decapitates Keyes there. Yeah. But that is fucking phenomenal. Look at this shit.
You haven't got it in this clip, but what I noticed today is it cuts him. Is it just his head it takes off? Because I thought it
splits him in half? I think it splits him in half.
Let's see. What's it going?
Well, unfortunately, the GIF cuts off there. It doesn't show that after.
Because what the film shows you is the lower part of his body fall down and nothing else.
Right.
So, I was like, wait. I was like, where's the rest of his body gone? Like, the top half's gone somewhere. Maybe I just missed it. But
with a lot of blood.
I'm pretty sure it's just like his legs just go dunk.
Yeah. But
it's a good moment.
Great scene, man. And then our boy Harrigan gets the upper hand, starts pumping some slugs. Look at all this action we're getting, dude.
Also, like as an artist, I'd say good art direction and like coloring and director of photography with this. Like because this like 15 minutes is all set in this sort of hazy ultraviolet blue, and then you get his red lasers, and then you get his luminous green blood. Like it's a really nice limited palette of colors for it. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, and Dan knows his art. He knows what he's talking about.
I tried to. Yeah.
But I love this scene. Cracked me up, man. Oh my god. So Danny Glover character Harrigan takes his helmet off, and he sees Predator. Now, do you like this scene, or do you think it's silly? Do you think it's funny?
I mean, it's really silly, and you wouldn't have that in a film now, I don't think. But you know,
I don't know. The cheese is the charm with this movie.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But he takes it off. He sees them, and he's like, "You're on one ugly motherfucker." And then Predator goes for the choke slam, but he brings him over there, and then he's all like, you know, because he finishes the line basically, "You're one ugly," and then Predator goes, "Motherfucker." Predator says "motherfucker" in this movie. Come on, what more do you want? But yeah, there's some parts of the movie where the face looks great, and then some parts of the movie the expressions look a little goofy, just a little bit. But you do get some great shots like this. Like this looks fucking great. Yeah, look at that. That is a phenomenal shot right there.
I mean, weirdly, awesome. I really don't think they've bettered these first two Predators, because I think what they do now is, I mean, the last one had horrific CGI for a lot of it. But I feel like the last couple of films they've probably like done makeup and then CGI mandibles and stuff, whereas just having that, you know, that actual action be properly there,
or the good. Mandibles and everything's too big. Like they have it here. Like why is it just really big?
They've not really nailed it, I don't think, in a long time.
So now we have a chase action sequence going on. They're trying to one up each other, and Harrigan ends up knocking both of them over the side of the building, and so they're both dangling right here. And Predator, you know, he's digging into Glover's arm there, and Glover's trying to reach for the disc, the blade disc, and they're kind of in a standstill right here. And then Harrigan looks at him and he goes, "Well, it's your move, man." And then the Predator did something that for some reason you'd think Samurai Guy would not forget. For some reason, I forgot what comes next, and I could not stop laughing. The freaking Harrigan goes, "Well, it's your move, man. It's your move." And Predator says, "Shit happens," and then turns on the self-destruct sequence. I was laughing my ass off, man. I was like, wow.
Because the thing is, the Predator's got really good comic timing with that stuff, and he probably doesn't even understand the human language.
No.
But it's good that he does that.
Oh my god, dude, I was busting up. The pipe breaks. He falls down into this poor old lady's bathroom.
Wait, no, he's lost his arm as well at this point, hasn't he? Does he get his arm cut off? Yes. Yeah. Like, yeah.
He cuts it off.
Like this whole sequence. I like this whole sequence. It's quite because also it puts him in a really sort of perilous situation, stuck on the edge, and then the Predator falls into that old lady's bathroom,
and it decides to take a break.
It's a really weird moment, that, because to me I really liked it because it does show you this moment of like Predator tech, which is the cooler parts of the film, any of the Predator films. And he's got this like disc that turns into a bowl, and he makes a little sort of blue fire or whatever.
Starts
and
patching up his holes, man.
It was another sort of really cool little bit of Predator lore, I think, to do that. Like every 15-20 minutes in this film, I think there's a little something that is new to the idea of what the Predator is. Whereas in the first one, it was kind of very pure in a sort of, this guy's hunting you, but you didn't really know why or what was going on.
I guess Predator just assumed that Harrigan wouldn't follow him because it was dangerous he had to climb the pole to get all the way over there. It was really dangerous to do. So I guess he assumed he ain't going to follow me. let me just take a break, heal myself.
Yeah,
take a dump. Predators
yeah.
probably have to take a dump. Use the bathroom right there.
And it's another weird moment where like the film by this point, this sort of action's been going for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you've got a couple of moments of this old lady being like, "Hello, is there someone in there?"
Herb, there's somebody in the bathroom, Herb. And Herb's watching the game. Herb don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I quite like that. It's
and then out of nowhere,
it's not overplayed.
Yeah, out of nowhere, Predator busts out of her bathroom, runs right past her, busts through the front door, and runs down the hallway. I wish there was footage of Predator running down the hallway of the of the apartment complex, and people coming out of the doors going, "Who?"
Yeah.
Oh my god. But yeah, and then Harrigan shows up, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'm a cop." And she says, "I don't think he gives a shit." Just fun, dude.
It is,
just popcorn, pure popcorn entertainment, man. Seriously. But now, Harrigan's character ends up on the ship accidentally. He falls.
Right. So where is the ship actually? Is it like underneath a lift? Is that it?
I think so. Because he uses the elevator. There's an elevator, right? He gets on the elevator underneath the apartment complex, I think.
It's one of those moments in the film where I sort of go, that's convenient / doesn't make sense.
I can see that.
Because he just sort of falls into the ship.
Right.
Could have been handled a bit better, I think.
Could have. Yeah, that's a good point. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I mean,
it doesn't
he is following him.
Yeah.
So the Predator, but still, how he got there, it was just kind of lucky.
Makes sense.
No. It was kind of lucky. But the ship looks cool.
Yeah, it does. Really cool.
It looks like a Dan Mumford special there.
Yeah. it's another thing. Like, how did that ship get there? But
just parking underneath there.
Is it a subway tunnel? I guess it is, isn't it? Right.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
But he fell up above from somewhere.
Yeah, anyway, yeah.
Yeah. It's called, we got to end the movie now.
yeah, it doesn't matter really, yeah.
Hold on. We need more explosions. And then he's going to fall through, he's going to dangle from the elevator, and he's going to fall through this whole abyss, and he's going to end up inside the Predator ship. There you go.
That's and do you know what? It lacks that sort of crazy explosiveness towards the end, and actually, it's quite an understated finale, I'd say, for what is a very crazy film.
It's kind of, I guess so. I guess because it's kind of the fight is
it's very simple.
It's short.
Yeah,
the fight is short. I mean, it's not like the hand-to-hand combat fight was long in the first movie. It was more of a chase and hunt thing, anyway.
But I actually think I've just sort of had
that's a good point.
A memory come back to me, and it was that I think I was disappointed with the finale the first time I watched it. I think I remember being like, "Wait, that's it? There's all these predators down here, and like he's just dead, and that's it's over."
Right.
And actually watching it now as an adult, like I would say the film ends very well. I think,
it doesn't. No, I agree with you. It does end well, and again builds on that lore, which nothing but the Predator movies after that could just copy over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But the fight could have been longer.
Yeah, it's
that's all. That's all.
But then it's the sort of thing. It's like Danny Glover is not the sort of actor you would have to be doing this big action.
That's
fight,
true.
Really,
so maybe it's very much this moment, short and sweet.
Yeah, and it's also this moment where they're both completely destroyed anyway. So it's quite a short. It's a short fight. It's a short moment, but it's in this really cool environment, which I really loved. And of course, it has a very, very special trophy case, doesn't it?
Yes. Let's get to the money shot. So we have Harrigan exploring the ship, comes across the trophy case, and that is it. Alien versus Predator franchise is born.
That literally was the start of whoever came up with that idea.
Phenomenal.
Started something very special, basically.
Phenomenal. I kind of wish the other skulls were from stuff too, but
yeah,
maybe they are. I don't know.
They're just. Yeah, I looked at them today and I didn't recognize anything. But the fact that there's an alien skull there is just so. I mean,
it's fucking phenomenal.
Back then as well in
That's
1990.
huge.
That was a big thing. That stuff didn't happen.
No.
Like nowadays, obviously, it happens in every other Marvel film or whatever, so it's interconnected. But this then was very cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think
close-up shot. Look at that. This is fucking phenomenal, man. Come on, this is great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And of course, the human skull in the middle there is poor Bill Paxton's skull.
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah.
Poor Paxton. Poor Jerry. Yeah. But yeah, again, when I rewatched it last night. Again, the first time I watched it when I was young, I was like, man, Danny Glover going toe to toe with the Predator, this is some bullshit, which is how everybody else reacted to it, right? But again, watching it now, I'm perfectly fine with it. Why? Danny Glover's the character. I'm not looking at the actor. I'm looking at the character. Yeah. He's a big, huge, hard-boiled cop. And think about it, guys. He's fighting a one-armed predator.
Yeah.
All right. He's got a shot.
He does have a shot. Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger did not fight a one-armed predator. Okay. No. If he fought a one-armed predator, maybe that would have been, the fight would have maybe ended a little sooner. But people forget
and also that. the predator did blow himself up in the first one as well.
It's true. That's true. Yeah.
So
Yeah. He just didn't say shit happens before.
No, he did not. No.
But yeah, and not only is he fighting a one-armed predator, it looks like he's giving a hand job here. But
that's an awkward angle.
Oh God! So I shouldn't leave it on here that long. Sorry, but anyway, so not only is he fighting a one-armed predator, but he's actually using the predator tech against the predator again. Arnold didn't have that in the first movie. No. If you think about it, Arnold, who's a lot more physical specimen, a lot more intimidating looking than Glover, and the character of Dutch is badass anyway, actually used his brain to really defeat the Predator. That's how he won, really. He tried brute force. It wasn't working. He was getting his ass kicked.
And you know what? Again, to give this film some credit, I don't think it doesn't like rehash a lot of stuff from the first film. We don't have any of like hiding their heat signatures or anything. It does a lot of things that are new, and it tries to be very different. Mm-hmm. And and the whole sort of the scene with Gary Busey and the ultraviolet light and freezing him, like that's a very different thing as well. So I don't think you can come at this film and say that it was just
it's just
rehash
trash.
Of anything.
0%.
It's like it's a lot of new ideas, and I think they really tried.
All I gotta say, it was like ridiculously entertaining rewatching this movie, man. Even the silly moments, but after he finishes he gives Predator the old fashioned. After the old fashioned's done, another big reveal, increasing the lore and of the Yaktja. That's what they call the alien species, the Yaktja. We have a whole bunch of badass versions that show up. I mean, a lot of these dudes show up at the end. And remember, this is kind of like a rite of passage type of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. As in that Predator.
That's why they didn't interfere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, now I think about it, like they made a lot of Predator suits just for like 1 minute scene.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting because there's more of them, isn't there? There's like 8.
There's like 8 or more. Yeah. And it's like, it's pretty badass when they arrive, and you have like the elder Predator in the middle there. He's got like the gray looking dreadlocks, which is cool.
You've not seen more than one Predator on screen before either.
No, good point.
And for all intents and purposes, like the Predator in this film is basically the same as the one in the first film.
Yeah.
So it's quite cool to see actually them side by side showing some differentiation between
different versions. They show up. And this was like a big deal. And I love how the lights, the laser sightings appear on Glover and before they show up. And I love that spinning shot where they're all around him. And then Glover's like, all right, who's next? And then he's surrounded by all these predators, bro, and it's not looking good. And what I was really, what really blew my mind and was not expecting was the straight up dance off we had right after, man. I mean, fuck. This came out of nowhere, bro.
I wondered if you were going to mention that. What is that from? Why does that exist on the internet? Did they just do that?
Predators got rhythm, bro. I don't see no aliens getting down. You know what I'm saying?
Was it for a music video? What was it?
No, it's just it was just behind the scenes footage. They were just goofing around.
Funny.
Yeah, they're just goofing around. Have you watched the whole sequence?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah, even Danny Glover gets in the middle. He's like dancing with them.
So funny.
Man,
it's a good ending. No, and then obviously he hands them that pistol as well, which is quite cool. There you go. Yeah.
That's his
which
reward.
Again,
respect.
It's this sort of more world building. Like, okay, yeah, these guys have been around for a fucking long time.
Yeah, 7/15.
It's good. I think I really like. Yeah, and I really love that it hammers home a lot of these things, and I think again, like we said earlier, like without this film, there's not a lot of this stuff that's there, and I think it's good stuff as well. I think it's stuff that furthers the idea of the Predator as this primal force that's been around for fucking ages. And that actually then ties in really well to the first AVP, even though the film itself isn't that great. But,
Right. Watch our video on that if you are if you haven't seen it. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, dude, the good in this movie heavily outweighs the bad.
I think so.
Heavily
I'm definitely
outweighs
on that
the bad.
side. I think you
by no means a perfect film, but go ahead.
No, it's not a perfect film, but it's also not a bad film. Like, it's well made. It's totally a product of its time. It fits that time period perfectly. If you like those sort of absolutely nuts films from that period of time, I think it's pretty good. And it's got a Predator in it as well. Like, it's the sort of film that you could see existing without a Predator and it just being about something else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. For sure.
I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean the villain within this film is a Predator.
Well, to add to that, when I was watching the movie last night, especially with the Jamaican drug gang running around causing ruckus, I was waiting for Steven Seagal to show up to start killing some people. Marked for death. Like, Seagal gonna show up?
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. But man, let's go ahead and give our verdict. I'm pretty sure by now you guys already know what our verdict is going to be. Dan Mumford, artist extraordinaire, is Predator 2 really that bad to the point where you agree with Rotten Tomatoes' score of 30% out of 100?
Absolutely not. I think that's a bad score for that film. Mm-hmm. It's at least a 70% for me, at least. Maybe 70, maybe 75%. I think that's a weirdly low score for that film.
It's like 60% is like certified fresh. It's like you can't even get it to 60. Like come on.
But then, are those reviews from when it came out, or are they more modern reviews? Do you know what I mean?
Well, if it's Rotten Tomatoes, it's probably a mixture. So because I'm sure it's probably more modern.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think that's interesting. I would have thought more modern reviews would have taken to it, kinda.
Right.
Because I think I can understand in the past if you might have been a bit like, this is a bad follow up to the original Predator. But I think now you would probably watch it and go,
it's legit,
more interesting. Yeah,
it's legit.
I think so.
Yeah. But I told you my first reaction. I liked it, but I didn't love it. But the movie's grown on me over the years.
That's probably how I felt when I first saw it. I mean, I was too young. To really appreciate a lot of the film anyway. But I think I definitely appreciate it much more now. But then that's probably the way with most films, I think. That I saw when I was a kid. There's a lot more to take from them when you're older, and and also I can appreciate the fact this is a film that tries to be different. It builds the world. It looks great. It's got good, if crazy, performances in it.
Mm-hmm.
everyone's doing exactly what they're meant to be doing in it. Do you know what I mean? I don't think anyone's miscasting it or anything.
No. But yeah, I'm gonna obviously agree with Dan on this. It's way too low. It's almost insultingly low.
I think, yeah,
it was
just
kind of like, okay, now you're just poking shots at it. They're focusing on the negative too much parts of it.
Yeah,
and they're not. They have no clue of the impact, this movie had on franchise.
Yeah, and I don't think I don't think a film can be praised too much for its subsequent legacy, because you sort of have to take it for what it is in the moment. But I think in the moment it's pretty good.
Oh yeah. But I would watch this in the theater.
Yeah, and I think if you're a Predator fan, like, if you don't like Predator 2, what have you got? You've got the first film, and that's it. Like, like, there's not much else. I mean, sure, you can like the comics and all that, which there are a lot of.
Yeah,
and I know some of them are meant to be very good.
Yeah.
But Predator 2, it's unlike any of the others. That's what I'll say.
Yeah,
it's
and now with this new Predator movie coming from Disney.
And what's that going to be called?
It's a Predator. A Predator. It's going to have the same plot synopsis. The Predator returns again. It's going to be supposedly the first time the Predator has landed on Earth, and they're going back that far. And I'm like,
prehistoric or medieval?
I don't know how far. I know there's some kind of native tribe or something in there. I'm not positive, to be honest. But it's just like, we already did this in 1990. We did this already. 1990, we did it. We don't need to make a movie about it.
It is very much the point now where I think they've either got to do something like Predator 2 again, where it's in a city, and it's a bit more like different from everything they've done in the past. I mean, which one was it? For The Predator, the more recent one.
Yeah.
That was such a shit film.
Yeah.
Like, really bad. Which I was very surprised about. Like, that's the setting of that film. If you have to boil it down, was a science lab and a forest. That's kind of it, right? Like, it didn't do anything. It wasn't interesting at all. Whereas I think a city setting at least gives you some fun stuff to play with.
And have you seen the plot synopsis for the Disney Predator? It's almost the same as the first Predator movie.
Right, yeah.
It's a one-on-one. She's using her smarts to out kill. It's like, why? It's like,
the thing is,
despite all the flack Predator 2 gets, like you said, at least it does something different.
And I'm sure this new one will be competent.
We'll see about
to be honest with you, but to be honest with you, if it's
I'll give it a shot, of course.
If it's under the umbrella of Disney, they generally seem to have a little bit more quality control, don't they? So
whether it's good or not, they have quality control.
It'll probably fall into that bracket that most Marvel films do, where it's like, it's fine. Probably, maybe it's not the most amazing thing ever, but it's probably fine.
We'll see.
But is it going to be like a 18 R-rated sort of thing, or is it going to be more
that I don't know, to be honest,
for all the family?
That would be terrible if it's a PG-13 Predator, man. It's like, come on, we've already had that.
I could see them trying to do that.
God damn it!
But I don't know why.
Now you're depressing me now. But thanks.
No, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
Thanks to Predator 2. Hey, I'll never be depressed watching this movie.
I know, man.
Hey, God damn it. Disney might turn into this is the Disney Predator movie right here. They're gonna have a song and dance.
There'll probably be a music video, I would imagine, for the new one.
We are the Yaksha, the mighty Yaksha. Oh my God. Well, let's look at the public here. I did a poll, of course. Always, even if they disagree with what we say, I always give them a chance to speak because I'm cool like that. All right, here we go. Let's see if they agreed with the low rating of Rotten Tomatoes. Look at that. Good. Look at that. Wow.
I think that's a pretty good
I'm surprised.
indication of the way it is.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm surprised it's that high. I thought it'd be more like
I'm surprised it's that high. But I do think if you're a fan of the Predator as a whole, like you're gonna see Predator 2 and be like, well, at least I'm getting some cool stuff out of this, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's not too long. It's got a lot of fun stuff in it. It's got fun actors.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's just it's different, man. I love it. I think it's
this could also be they're kind of viewing the movie like us, like it's grown on us over time. We end up liking it more.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
you know.
I find that happens with most films that I watched when I was younger. At the time, you know, I just wanted one thing, and that was like violence.
Right. Well, action. We all want that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? Predator 2 does give that to you. So.
Oh yeah, in spades, man. Especially that beginning. Well, this was a blast, my friend. Thank you so much, Dan the Man Mumford, hanging out with the Samurai Guy in the Movie Dojo. Love talking sci-fi and horror with you, my friend. Will we do Predators? I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to discuss. Will we do Demolition Man? I don't know.
That'd be a good one, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we should segue to that. All right, we're Predatored out. We're Predatored out here at this point, and Aliened out too, because we did Alien Resurrection as well. Don't forget we did that too, as well as AVP and all that good stuff. But yeah, like thank all you badasses for watching, hanging out with us knuckleheads today. Follow Dan Mumford's Instagram. The link is in the description box below. Phenomenal artwork. Once you see his art, you're gonna get mad. You're actually gonna get pissed off because you're gonna be like, "Well, I don't have enough wall space for all this awesome shit. God damn it!" That's what I do when I go there. I'm like, "Fuck." When I look at your artwork, I get mad. I'm like, "God damn it, this is awesome. I don't have any room." Yeah, man. Always an honor, a privilege to have you here hanging out with Samurai Guy. And those of you who have never seen Predator 2. Don't give it a shot. Don't be like, oh, it's old. It's 1990. That's like old people's eras, and it's old movies. Hey,
it holds up well.
Holds up, right? Get the friends together, get some brewskis, get some pizza, and sit back and enjoy the motherfucking badass ride that is Predator 2. Hell to the yeah.
Definitely.
All right, man. This was a blast. All right. If you're new here, again, thanks for hanging out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we see you guys on the next one. Take care.